Yeah. Yeah, okay, Johnny. Yeah. Hello there. Hey, and welcome here to Reading with Drew. Yeah. We're reading books and stuff, you know. That's what you do sometimes. You gotta read. So, we're reading this book here. It's called DogBreath Victorious, okay? And it's by Chad Henry. Alright. Now, without further ado, we're gonna dig into this wonderful book here. Alright? Here we go now. Here we go now. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. We're on chapter 18. Here we go. Now. The little purple Volkswagen sagged low to the ground. The back seat was cramped with amplifiers, drums, guitar cases, cables, and several months' worth of hamburger wrappers, milkshake cartons, and French fry boxes. And her suspension was not what it used to be. And, of course, in the passenger seat sat the giant Howie the dog. In deep disgrace, his head stuck out the moonroof. Ziggy's skateboard was still tied to the car with a bungee cord. I was driving totally illegally because Ziggy's wrist still hurt. So, I'm like so totally bummed, man, sighed Ziggy. We were robbed, bro, really. Those guys that won, those housewives, they're just like a novelty act or whatever. They only won because they're so weird. I know, I said. It's totally unfair, man, Zig went on. We work and rehearse and try to write really meaningful songs, and like our whole entire career depends on this contest, bro. And like, along came some like tourist bunch of amateur chicks, for God's sake, and wrecked the whole thing for us, man. This time, I said, I think we should just wrap it up. Just quit for good, man. No, Timmer, no, said Ziggy. That's not that bad. We're young, we're attractive. We'll make more chances. That's easy for you to say, I snapped. You're not in love with Susie Blethens. Your whole entire life does not depend on our getting famous like mine does. Tim, did it ever occur to you that Susie Blethens is not worthy to kiss the hem of your garment? Said Ziggy. She is a total manipulative booze. Dump her, man. She's not worth a moment of your precious time. Thanks for the advice, dear Abby, I snarled. After taking about a cautious hour to drive 3 miles to our house, I pulled up around the back so I wouldn't wake anybody up. The car sputtered, stalled, and died before I could even turn off the ignition. I got out of the car and went around to let Howie out. Looks like your mom's got company, Ziggy said. Huh, I said. That's weird. She doesn't usually get any company this late. Maybe she's romantically involved with some tax consultant, said Ziggy. I punched him on the arm. Shut up, would you? Don't talk about my mom that way. Ow, you shouldn't hit an injured music god, said Ziggy. Then you shouldn't talk about my mom, okay? Now shut up and go home. How can I go home? I can't drive, he pointed out. Then what are your plans for the rest of the evening? Me and Howie can stay at your place. Tomorrow morning you can take us home, okay? My mom won't be too crazy about you and Howie staying over. You know how conservative she is, I reminded him. Well, just don't tell her, okay? I will sneak in the back way. It'll be totally mystical. She won't even know we're there. If it was just you, it'd be mystical, maybe. Howie's so big, it's like trying to hide a beluga whale or something. Very droll, very amusing. I don't care about my feelings, but you shouldn't be mean to Howard. He's only a dumb beast, said Zig, hurt. That makes two of you, bro. Come on, we have to sneak into the basement entrance real quick. Make sure Howie stays quiet, too, or she'll kick us both out. Or kick you both out. The three of us tried to quietly crunch across the gravel in the driveway as not to make much noise. As it turned out, we didn't need to be so careful. There was 1970s rock music blasting in the living room. Rock music in our living room? I was starting to feel apprehensive. What if some robbers had broken in and killed my mom and were looting our house while listening to the CD player? We tiptoed to the basement door. I turned the key quietly in the lock, and the three of us tiptoed down the stairs. I guess if a dog can tiptoe. Okay, I whispered. I'm going to go up and check it out. You guys stay here, okay? Okay, said Ziggy. Be careful, Timmer. He yawned deeply and headed off toward my room, Howie padding along behind him. Howie yawned too. Come on in and lie down, Howie, Ziggy murmured. I turned and snuck up the basement stairs that led to the kitchen. Just before I reached the kitchen door, I heard a woman scream, My God, I thought, Mom! I eased open the door. The kitchen was dark. I took a couple of cautious steps into the room. There was another scream. My blood turned cold. Give me some more champagne! Jetta, sit! I recognized Miss Lewis' voice. Then Miss Lewis said, Okay, everybody, and here's the big payoff. I snuck over to the living room archway, but kept out of sight. My mom said, Well, that's the car payment. Miss Lewis's voice said, I'm donating my share to Bev. She's got a mortgage payment too, you know. No, you're not, my mom was heard to say. Yes, I am, said Miss Lewis, and so is everybody else. That's right, said a chorus of women's voices. This is for you, Bev. I accept. You're all wonderful, and I'm going to pay you all back every cent I swear on Nick's grave. Whitney, you're brilliant. Everybody, I want to propose a toast. I heard the dry pop of a champagne cork, then wine gurgling into glasses. Curiosity got the better of me. I eased around the corner of the archway and into the dark corner of the living room. Bang, kapow! That was the sound of my mind imploding, because there, sitting around the living room, were the members of the Angry Housewives. Eek, eek! The bottom of the universe was whirling out into space from underneath me. Everything in my head was black, swirling maelstrom of horror. Wee. There's the woman with the baby doll head necklace, the lady with the toilet paper hair, the BBW lady with the keyboard, and the woman with the garbage sack dress. And they were in order of appearance: Jetta, Wendy, Miss Lewis, and, of course, special guest star, my mom, Bev Therafall, as 2,000 flushes. I lurched. I staggered. My heart was pounding, and I felt a real, true, all-time mad flaring up out of my red-hot, poker-stabbed guts and the back of my brain into the front of my face. I felt like my eyes were twirling green headlights, and I felt like I had fangs popping out of my mouth, dripping scorching, toxic saliva. I took several deep breaths. In a burst of rage, I burst to my feet and yelled out, Traitor! 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 My mom sat down on the couch very quickly and said, And then you marinate the beef for about 15 minutes. So you're the Angry Housewives, I howled. God, I feel so stupid. I can explain everything, said my mom. What is there to explain? I saw you there, and so did everyone else, I shot back. She did it for you, said Miss Lewis. Oh, Timmy, gurgled Jetta, lurching to her feet. Don't be mad at us. You're so cute. Jetta staggered over in front of me. Her makeup was smeared, and she had a weird, half-insane smile on her face. She flung her arms around me, looked me deep in the eyes, then plunged her lips on mine and gave me a very intense, deep, and slurpy kiss. I felt cold horror flicker up and down my spine, much as I imagine how it feels to be electrocuted. It was horrible, like some Greek tragedy. Phaedra. I think that's the one. I mean, thank you, Miss Cedarberg. Then Jetta fell back on the couch, her eyes closed. I wiped my mouth with my sleeve. I was so angry. I was almost on the verge of tears, but this time all my pissed offness came hurling out. I can't believe you guys would be so low to even think about entering this contest. Mom, if you guys go on and do the finals, it'll ruin my life. Oh, quit being so dramatic, said my mom. How can I show my face at school? I pleaded. Well, you don't show your face at school all that often as it is, Miss Lewis chimed in helpfully. Just don't admit I'm your mother, Mom said. You're not, I shouted. A mother who loved me wouldn't do this. My mom got a strange, determined, defiant look on her face. But I love you, but you know that I love this band too. I looked at my mom. Her bleach blonde wig, her garbage sack dress, and Mr. Yuck stickers all over it, heavy black eye makeup, and scarlet red lipstick and nails. All this time, I was so worried about you, Mom, I said. Thought you were still upset over Dad, but you were just planning to humiliate me. I slammed out of the kitchen, ran down the stairs, and into my room. Ziggy was asleep in my bed, snoring gently, curled up next to Howard. I flipped on the overhead light, grabbed a paper grocery sack, and started jamming clothes into it. Wake up, Zig, we're getting out of here, I said. I grabbed a couple of books and I stopped. Sitting on top of my bookcase was my teddy bear, Clarence, who I had had since I was 4. My dad had bought him for me at FAO Schwartz during a business trip to New York. Clarence was all raggedy and he was bald where I had chewed the fur off him. And he only had one eye, but I loved Clarence. I suddenly saw my dad's face smiling at me. It's funny when someone you know really well dies or goes away, you think you'll always remember what they look like. Over the months since Dad's death, his face was more and more vague in my mind, but now I saw him smiling, pulling Clarence the bear out of his suitcase that first time. I remembered him picking me up, hugging me, kissing me. My eyes stung with the tears until Clarence got all swimmy. I picked him up and I stuck him on top of the paper bag. Ziggy sat up sleepily, rubbing his eyes. Where are we going, bruh? Your place. I like your place better, dude. Tough, I'm not staying here 1 second longer. Get your clothes on, wake up Howie up, and take him out to the car. I'll meet you out there in a few minutes. Couldn't we wait till tomorrow, man? Now, Ziggy, now! I ran outside and hot-wired Veronica's ignition and gunned the gas pedal. Nothing happened. I peered at the fuel gauge, empty. Nothing was going right tonight. I ran back inside and stopped into the living room. I stood there defiant. I need some money. We're leaving, I said. Where are you going? My mom asked, a quiver in her voice. To Ziggy's. I hope you sleep well tonight. His house has rats. Tim, I'm not quitting this band. I'm sorry if things didn't go well for you tonight, but I have a life too, you know. This is the most fun I've had since your father died, and if you don't like it, it's just too bad. Yeah, it's too bad, I said. Well, you go right ahead on with your band, and if that's what you want, I said, because you're never going to see me again. I'm leaving. And I'm leaving for good, and I never want to have anything to do with you. God. Or see you, or talk to you, or get a letter from you, or anything. God, if Dad was still alive, he'd be so, I don't know what. Could you at least give us a ride to Ziggy's? No, said Mom. Okay, we'll walk, but remember this. You're going to look really bad in my autobiography. At that moment, Ziggy came through the living room archway. Howie came paddling along him. They're both still half asleep. Good old Ziggy sleeps in the nude, and he didn't have a stitch on. Talk about your nature, boys. Hey, Tim, what are you doing up? Why didn't you tell somebody else was here? Hey, I thought I told you to get up and get dressed. We're out of here, I said. All 4 of the women in the living room swiveled their heads towards Ziggy, did a double take at his pale nude form, screamed and burst out laughing hysterically. Ziggy was so sleepy, he barely registered what was going on for a second. Then he actually got a good look at all 4 women. Stopped, he stared, his eyes got bigger and bigger. Then finally the penny dropped. Wow, he breathed. You guys are the angry housewives. Far out! All right. So now all of Ziggy's teachers have seen his wiener. Yeah. But he's just more impressed that they're the angry housewives. I thought he was gonna be mad, but I mean, honestly, like if your parents were really good musicians, like I can see where Timmy's a little upset. I mean, I don't know. There's pros and cons to everything, right? Yes. So there you have it. That was chapter 18. DogBreath Victorious. I hope that it was a good one for you. Because it was good for me. Just a few more chapters left. I'm getting excited to find out what happens at the end. I bet the angry housewives win, and they can pay off all their debt or whatever with the money that they win. And then maybe Timmy realizes that Susie Blethins isn't really the cool one, and maybe that Phoebe is actually the one that he likes and is a better fit for him. So that's my guess anyway. We'll find out next time on the next episode of Reading with Drew, okay? Okay? Have a good day.